Coin Grading Guy here, back with another episode of Coin Show Pickups, and in this instance you can see a little different than the other ones I normally do. As you know, if you've been watching any of this at all, I normally, when I go to the coin show looking to fill the Morgan dollar set, I generally like to buy graded coins because I know what I am getting in that instance. In this instance, I was at the coin show and was looking at graded coins. But if you've been to a coin show, you know a lot of the dealers will have the coins in flips. And this one caught my eye because you can see and this is not my flip, not my writing. This was the dealer, I presume the dealer I bought it from, his writing. But he had this as, he thought this was an AU55 grade. And when I looked at it, at least from the distance, the fields looked incredibly good, smooth. You know, there's a little bit of chatter there, but not almost uncirculated type grade. And so I asked him about it to bring it to his attention to say to question whether he really had this at an AU55. And so, not that I was looking to kind of point it out, but I wanted to give him an opportunity to explain to me what he thought, or what I maybe thought that I saw, or that he didn't see, or that he saw something I didn't see, I guess. And so we were kind of handing this coin back and forth, and I can only come to because he didn't really, he looked at it and he's like, yeah, that there's the toning on the cheek there, which you can see. And then there is a line on the back. If you can, you can kind of see there, if it kind of goes through the bottom part of the top of the legs, straight line all the way across from the R in America. If you're looking on the right side, going to the left side to the end in United, there's a black line there. And so he looked at it, and so I can only presume, he really didn't say this, I can only presume he kind of like netted it down just because of that line and then this toning spot on the cheek. And I got to looking at this, and I kind of thought that this would be a good candidate for dipping. And part of me, I really wouldn't even dip this coin. I would maybe try to just use some easiest on the cheek. But for the line on the back, which is on the coin, and I'll bust out of the holder here shortly, and I'll show without the holder. But and so I'm taking a flyer on this one. I did not pay even AU pricing for this. I paid XF pricing for this coin, so extra fine. And I normally wouldn't do this. I normally don't buy coins in the raw to send them off, because I have done that when I was new to collecting, and generally speaking, it's not a winning proposition. But anyway, because most dealers, right, I'd say all dealers are pretty knowledgeable at what they have, and I think this guy was knowledgeable with what he had, but with that spot on there, probably the spot on the cheek, probably just wanted to maybe get rid of it, or get some of his money, get his money back, and move on. But I'll get this thing out of the holder, and then I'll talk about more about the coins specifically here in a second. All right, got the coin out of the flip here, and as you can see, the reason why I think this is toning is, or I'm fairly certain it's toning, you can see on the cheek there, that cheek, the stuff on the cheek, if you want to call it the stuff or the toning, is essentially the same toning you can see in the upper part of the coin. And so in talking with the dealer, and obviously, you can see that brownish toning kind of around the rest of the coin. The suspicion was that this was obviously some sort of, who knows, folder or some sort of thing that where the paper around the outside or whatever was there was causing the toning around the rim of the coin, around the letters there of the E Pluribus Unum. But then whatever was laying on top, whatever thing he had this in, when I say he, the original collector had it in, was resting on the high point of the cheek there. And so because of that, and because of this line, which you can see if I tip it like that, and that is, as you can see, on the coin. So however this coin was stored, I don't know if that was, what was pressed in the back of that coin, but I'm going to try to dip this thing just because I don't really mind, or I actually really think the toning around the rim is pretty cool, but the toning on the cheek I think is distracting. And obviously that line on the back I think is also distracting, even though I can say that filming it here it's a little harder to pick up, but the naked eye, it comes across pretty easy. So I am going to dip it, and then I'll send it off to get graded. A couple specifics about this one. The 1878 8 tail feathers, needed that one to fill. That's the other reason why I bought it, is I needed it to fill, and I thought this would be a good experiment to see if I get this to work. But just because if I can get, if this is mint state, which I think it is, not entirely sure how mint state, but that's a pretty decent premium from the XF that I paid for it, even when you consider grading costs. But so what I have here, the 8 tail feather, 749,500 of them. So somewhat of a low mintage. Mint state, they're, not incredibly expensive, but, you pay up for them a little bit in mint state. I have the VAM 17 here, and let me rephrase that. I'm pretty certain I have the VAM 17. One of the tells being there's doubled Liberty. And again, as I talk about all these things, I'll put the pictures up. There is a die chip in the lower loop of the 8, which really doesn't come across there, but throw the picture up of that. There are extra wing feathers on both the left by the leg and the right. Is a tell. And then there is, unfortunately for me, I did find and you won't be able to see it here at all, but right in front of the eye, there's I don't know if it's a dye polish line or what exactly it is, but which is kind of a telltale marker that this is indeed a VAM 17. I was hoping it was going to be a VAM 15 based on the doubled Liberty, because that VAM 15 actually does carry a little bit of a premium, but I don't think it is. So that is the story behind the coin. I will go now dip this, and I'll cut the video and bring it back before I show you guys what it looks like before I submit it, and then we'll get the coin back from grading. All right, back from dipping, or I guess self-conservation in this instance. I think it's fine. I don't know. It looks pretty good. It's still, the toning is gone, obviously, all over the coin, which, is, I guess, expected. You can see the cheek. You remove that toning, and the scratches that are there, do obviously come out, but a lot of scratches on the cheek. But I still think, you look at the fields of this thing, and man, I just think this is a mint state coin. The one thing that did not come off is you can see the line. I don't know what that is or how it got there, but it did not come off. So this is the part, if you do quote unquote conserve or dip your own coins, unless you've probably done a bunch. I've done some, enough to know a little bit, I guess. I have no idea what that stuff is on that line on the back. If that's glue from an album, that would make the coin stick to the back of it so it wouldn't fall out. I have no idea what that is, but I still think the coin looks pretty good. Thank goodness, I guess that's on the reverse. And this thing still does, it's got some, what I guess the mirrors they call it. I've got a pencil here, and you can see in the coin, as I move that pencil back and forth, you can see that pencil gets reflected in there. So I think this is a mint state coin. I'll be really, really surprised if this doesn't come back mint state. And, I think anybody who's been looking at coins long enough, I think will know that this thing has been dipped. But I think there's plenty of coins out there that have been dipped and have been sent away and gotten straight grades. So that's my take on it. All right, sit tight, and I'll be back with the grade shortly. All right, 1878 Coin Show pickup back from grading, and I am pretty happy. This is the first time, I guess, in my collecting history that I have actually cherry picked a coin. And what I mean by that is when I obviously saw this, thought it was better than what it was listed for, sent it away, and we got some good results. So got the VAM 17 like I was expecting, the Mint State 63, and this is a good pickup for me. If you are wondering if this is the same coin, you can see those lines on the reverse there are still there, so it is the same coin. And price-wise, if you are wondering, I know a lot of people like to hear that stuff. I paid $130 for this coin, for the coin and the grading fees. And this is now roughly a $425 to $450 coin. So pretty happy about that. It is a first for me. I'm not sure if I'll be lucky enough to do it again, but it was a fun one to do for this time around. If you like this kind of content, I do post more Coin Show pickups on Thursdays, and then also on graded coin results on Mondays as well. Appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe. See you on the next one.